It is game day, ladies and gentlemen. Your Chicago Bulls tip off their season versus the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. I'm here to give you three keys to a successful season for the Chicago Bulls, and then we'll discuss tonight's matchup versus those New Orleans Pelicans. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it down, but you gotta hear the music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. For my people that's tuning in for the first time, welcome in. Make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe to the channel. And for my family members that's returning, welcome back. I'm happy to have you, and I'm happy to get ready to start off the Bulls regular season tonight versus the New Orleans Pelicans. And I know that when it comes to some of the keys of a successful season, there is going to be some people that think about win totals, that think about individual accolades. Me, I'm taking it, and I'm thinking that my keys to a successful season is going to be more team centric when it comes to the keys for me. One of the first keys that I like to bring to the table is that the Chicago Bulls, in order to make this a successful season, they have to embrace the new. Mark Eversley came out. Where the hell has he been, by the way? Is what I'm still trying. I ain't seen Mark Eversley since Bulls Fest about a year ago. You know what I'm saying? Where has Mark Eversley been? But he did tell us it's not about Zach anymore. It's not about Nikola Vucevic anymore. So now it's time to embrace the new. We have a young team. We have been classifying it as the youth movement. So it's now time for us fans and this team to embrace that. We're talking about the new guys that are now a part of the coaching staff. We're talking about the new players that are on the squad or the young players who are expected to receive a larger role on this Chicago Bulls team. Everyone has to embrace that, including head coach Billy Donovan, and give these guys an absolute great chance to go out there and win some basketball games. The goal has been set to win as many games as possible this season. There is no tankathon gonna happen, at least is what we've been told from my people that want to go for the tank for Cooper Flag. I'm all for it, but it doesn't appear to be what the Chicago Bulls want to do right now. So you have to embrace the new. Embrace Josh Giddey coming on to the team. Embrace the re-addition of Lonzo Ball. Embrace guys like Jalen Smith. Embrace Montes Buzelis. Look at these young, talented guys that can come out here and potentially do something for the Chicago Bulls. And hopefully a lot of these young and some of these new faces, they can come in and be constant contributors to where we can see, all right, we're going to be able to keep this guy on the record or this guy on the squad, excuse me, for the foreseeable future. And we'll have to eliminate this guy and things like that. So embrace the new, because this is a new squad. They've been playing at a different pace. They've been playing a different style of basketball. It's been very, very exciting during preseason, but we already know it's just preseason. Another key for me to have a successful season this season for your Chicago Bulls is to maximize the use of Lonzo Ball. And why I believe that will be or count as some type of success for the Chicago Bulls is because Lonzo Ball, his career was up in the air. You know what I'm saying? He always believed. But those around who is not going through all those trials and tribulations that Lonzo Ball was going through these past few years, his career was in the air. So I say a success for the Chicago Bulls is to maximize Lonzo Ball. We know that he's going to start off the season on a minutes restriction. Let's see if we can work that way up. You know what I'm saying? To maybe 20 minutes per game, 25 minutes per game on certain nights, or to where a restriction hopefully can be lifted. I don't know how soon that restriction is going to be lifted. I believe it's going to take some time, maybe towards the second half of the season. We'll probably see the minutes go up or the restriction be lifted. But until then, for what time that you have on your list, on how you're going to utilize Lonzo Ball, it has to be solid to hold on for the Chicago Bulls. It has to be a way that you can figure out how you can utilize Lonzo Ball to his greatest ability. We already kind of seen it a little bit of here there. Definitely making sure that Josh Giddey is on the floor at all times, or you got Lonzo Ball while Josh Giddey is kind of sitting down. And you kind of look at that stuff and you say, hey, if Lonzo Ball can finish out this season with no major setbacks to where he has to go under the knife again, maybe miss a couple games for some soreness, I would take that. But as long as you can make sure that Lonzo Ball gets through this season without having to go under the knife again, I will count it as a success. The last key for me is to find out if Montes Buzelis could potentially be a star in the future. I believe we have that thought in our mind, but we already know you can think another thing, but then you also got to watch the thing. I want to be able to watch this thing and be like, hey, if Montes Buzelis keep doing what he's doing, just give it another year or two. He's going to be a star. I think that will count as a success for the Chicago Bulls, because the Bulls right now, we're choosing a direction, but I don't think we fully leaned into that direction. And I think the Bulls are kind of, not trying to draw it back so much to where they're like, hey, we're literally at the bottom of the league, Washington Wizard territory, Brooklyn Nets territory. We're not in that territory. And I hope that we don't have to get to that territory for us to eventually take step forwards, like that thing to where you take a few steps back to take a few steps forward. I want us to stand firm on where we are and then continuously take steps forward. I know there's going to be some setbacks. Nothing is ever perfect, but it'll be nice to see at least how the Bulls utilize Montes Buzelis to where we can not only give him the reps, but also make sure that he's developing the correct way, the way we need him to be for the foreseeable future. So those three keys will be a success in my mind for the Chicago Bulls. This season is not going to be about the win totals for me. It's going to be more team centric. I did list individuals, but I also think there is a bigger picture at hand when you talk about embracing the new, when it comes to the players and the coaches and what the emphasis is going to be. When it talks about maximizing Lonzo Ball, because though I did just single out Lonzo Ball can help this team. And if you maximize him, you will have a better team. And then if you find out if Montes Buzelis is really like that, which I believe he is, but you got to put it on wax. If you're able to find out that that's not only going to take care of this season, but hopefully years to come, that lets that right there, at least with that last part with Montes, in my mind, will allow the front office to move a little bit differently than what they probably plan to, or be able to make more sound decisions and not have to backtrack and try to move on and constantly try to, take the bites at the apple to where you're hurting yourself versus helping yourself. And I believe if you got Montes Buzelis as one of those guys that you can say, okay, bet he's a cornerstone piece, now we can really, really focus on another piece that we can add in here. And it doesn't necessarily have to be tanking for Cooper Flag. That's the whole thing about it. But when it came to the Chicago Bulls preseason, this team, they did pretty damn well. They was one of the I believe they were top in pace, and they were a team that shot 43% from the field as a team, 34% from the three. They averaged 28 assists a game, 52 rebounds a game, 9 steals and 6 blocks. That wasn't that bad. That's actually pretty decent. And I hope that they can improve on that. I would love to see the field goal percentages go up from the field and the three-point line, and we'll see how that goes on. That guys continue to go on and move on and get their rhythm, and we shall see what happens with that. But overall, these guys played well, and I will say this: eyes will be on Josh Giddey tonight. Eyes will be on Josh Giddey for the for the next few months, to probably the entire season, because there has already been the conversation that has come up to what we're talking about is Ayo Dosunmu. You know what I'm saying? Will Ayo Dosunmu eventually crack the starting lineup, or does Josh Giddey not appear to be what we thought he would be? that those conversations are already coming up. So that's something we definitely will be watching for in tonight's game as well. And another thing headed into this season that we got to talk about is there is going to be constant conversation about Zach LaVine's situation. It's always going to be on the mind of others. Me personally, I'm chilling. I'm allowing them to do what they do. I'm not on the side of saying trade Zach LaVine or keep him. I'm just embracing the now. I'm looking at the now because I know that Zach LaVine is going to be a part of the team at least for now. However long that is still to be determined. But I'm going to embrace what we have right now. But we already know it's not going to be that simple. It's not going to go, let's just say for the sake of discussion, if the Bulls come out the gate 0-3, the rumblings are going to start rumbling. You know what I'm saying? The teapot is going to start getting hot and bubbly and then start whistle. There's going to be a whistleblower in this if the Chicago Bulls don't start off their season doing well, and they're going to, look at how Zach LaVine is reacting in the media. Look how Zach LaVine is reacting on the basketball court. All those things are going to constantly come up. It's constantly coming up every single day. We're hearing different trade rumors. When it comes up, is Zach LaVine could be traded for Brandon Ingram. Zach LaVine can be traded for this guy, that guy, this bag of chips, this pack of annihilators. This is going to be a constant thing this season. So I think that the Bulls need to constantly place their motives out there. You don't have to share everything, but if it comes to your desk, help Zach LaVine shoot down some of these rumors if it comes to him and it annoys the hell out of him, because the last thing you want to do is to get a bad body language Zach LaVine on the basketball court with the hounds in the arenas. So you got to settle all this, and I think that's something that you can help. And I got another question heading into tonight's game. Can Billy Donovan utilize this team at the best of their abilities? And it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be beautiful all the time. But how do you place guys in position to where they can maximize their talents, or, you know what I'm saying, rise above what we originally thought about them? You know what I'm saying? We got questions about Dalen Terry. We have questions about Julian Phillips. We like them, but we still have some questions. Help us solve some of these, give us some answers. Help us solve some of these questions. How do you utilize Montes Buzelis to ensure that he's receiving those reps and getting the necessary play that's going to matter for the future of the Chicago Bulls? How do you utilize Jalen Smith? Because he's going to be here for another couple of years. Those things are going to matter. So when we talk about tonight's matchup versus the New Orleans Pelicans, it's a great start for the Bulls. I honestly believe this is a solid matchup. Right now, the Pelicans are favored to win the game, and rightfully so. That's how it should be, because the belief is that they are a better team right now. But the Bulls can very well come out the gate swinging and surprise the guys. You know what I'm saying? I think that the play style is going to keep them in a lot of games that they shouldn't be in. It's just that the Bulls will have to execute, and Billy Donovan has to give them, you know what I'm saying, the roadmap. And once Billy Donovan gives them the roadmap, it's up to the players to execute. You know what I'm saying? Everything is a lot of it's going to fall on Billy Donovan, but not all of it. Some of it's going to fall on these players in how they react and play. That's how it's going to be. Once the roadmap is given, how will the players execute? What is it going to look like? How is it going to be? The good thing is that tonight the Pelicans are facing some potential guys that are going to sit out. The Chicago Bulls might be looking at the Pelicans. They're definitely looking at the Pelicans without Trey Murphy. He's already been ruled out with the hamstring injury. Zion Williamson and DeJounte Murray, those two guys are game time decisions. I would expect those guys to play. But, you know what I'm saying, regardless if they do play or not, I want to see if this Chicago Bulls team comes out to play. That's what I would like to see from the Chicago Bulls. Do you come out to play? Do you start this game how you started just about every single game last season with bad first quarters? Do you bounce back on that? Do you try to reinvent yourself to play a more complete basketball game? I believe they have the players to do it. I believe they have the talent. I don't believe that they have to limit themselves just to three-point shooting or just attacking the basket. You can go ahead and have a good mix of all those things with this young team and continue to build off of that. So Those are the things. It's going to be an exciting matchup tonight versus Zion. Me personally, I hope he plays. I want DeJounte Murray to play. I think that the Bulls need to go against some of these teams so they can get hit on the chin a couple times, and then, you know what I'm saying, they'll be able to take some hits from some of the better teams around the league. Because last night we seen the Boston Celtics lay down the hammer on the New York Knicks. Lit them up. Lit them up. So that's one thing I'm hoping I'm not gonna see tonight, because if we do, yeah, in game one, we crashing out. After game one, we gonna crash out if the Bulls get blown out by however many points the Knicks got blown out in game one. It will be just game one, but I'm like, you getting blown out by the Pelicans? They're not a bad team, but come on, guys. This ain't the world champs. I ain't gonna lie. This ain't the world champs. It's the Pelicans. It's the Pelicans. They improved. I believe they improved. I believe they're a solid team. But they ain't the Boston Celtics. Don't get blown out early in game one, gang. Can't do it. Can't do it, y'all. Can't do it. But that is it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for tuning in into another episode. Go ahead down below. Leave your comments, leave your feedback, leave your thoughts. If you want to call in and be a part of our mailbag episode that's taking place this weekend, call in, state your name, leave your take. The number to do so is 773-242-9219. Thank y'all so much. Make sure you always see red, and you already know I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.